So this is lesson 3. At the end of the day, you will be submitting your sketch design. And the way you're going to submit it is into 11 by 17 format. So if you've been working on 8.5 by 11s, you'll be scanning in the two sheets and then piecing them together and then emailing that to me. The best thing to do is actually take the two sheets and scan it on a larger flatbed, 11 by 17, and then scan that to me. Now the reason I request that is because you're going to need an 11 by 17 scan to do the next thing. The next assignment is to transfer your sketch design into CAD. And in order to do that, we need the highest quality scan possible. Now you can't just use a camera on your phone or anything like that. It will distort the edges and none of this will work. You need a flatbed scanner. If you are working on 11 by 17, or I should say on 8.5 by 11, you can scan the two images in and then bring them both into the AutoCAD file in order to do the next procedure, but it requires a very good quality scan. So first of all, this is a typical drawing that you'll be getting from an architect, and it shows the layouts of the elevation. They usually rotate them around the plan view. We've been working with this plan here. The first thing I'm going to do is take the existing project, and I want to protect it in the sense that I don't accidentally delete anything, but also I don't want it to be such a dominant color. I want it only to be a background image. So I've simply selected everything, and I'm going to change the color or the object color to a single color. So I'm going to pick the number 8 gray. It still may be too dark. You may have to go to the number 9 gray. It doesn't matter. But I'm also going to make this a single grouped element. So right click anywhere on the page and then select group and group. And what that will do is make it a single object. And you can see that gray is still fairly dark, but what's nice about it is the fact that I can click on any part of it. It's all picked now, and I can change the color to a lighter color as well, and that makes it very dimmed in the background so it doesn't interfere with our actual CAD work. Now I've got these lines. These are construction lines which go on forever, so unless I've selected them using crossing, they were never picked. So I'm just going to pick these and delete them, or what I can do is remove them. But I've actually got them in here specifically because this is where my deck is going to be. This is how I've positioned my deck location. The top of the deck is the first line, and that will be the deck that's closest to the house. And then the step down is in the location just below that. Now the step down is 7¼ inches from the step above. So that will give me the proper height step. We can't really exceed 7 7/8, which is the magical number. 7.5 is also a common variation in the two different heights, and we can use that number as well. And I'll get back to that when we start working with elevations. But this is what we need to do first. Now I'm ready to insert the actual graphic. So I'm going to create a new layer, and the layer I'm going to create is the graphic layer. So that way I can turn that on and off at any time. So you'll notice in here I have nothing that says insert graphic or graphic. So let's create one. I'm going to click on the create new, and this is insert graphic. So this is your image that you've scanned in, that you've been sketch designing for the purposes of being able to then transfer it. And I'll leave it as number 9 as a color, and let's make that one current. So let's make that current and then close this down. Okay. So now I'm ready to insert the graphic. So let's do this. We need our secondary menu. So if you haven't got 2 rows of text menus, remember you can go up to the arrow that's at the top of the screen, and down in this bar it should say show menu bar. If you've got hide like I do, that means it's already revealed on your screen. So just click on it to reveal that menu. Make sure it says insert graphic in the layer. Yep. Now I'm ready to select insert. You'll notice there's 2 different types of inserts we can work with. I've suggested that you save or scan the image as a PDF. It's a better quality image, higher resolution, or you can scan it in and save it as a JPEG. That's what a raster image is. A raster image is a JPEG, a PDF is a PDF. So we can use either one of those depending on how you've actually scanned it in. So I'm going to click on PDF underlay since mine is. And then I've got to go find the file. So I've got different examples here that I can work with, and I'm selecting this one. It's from a former student that did some excellent work. And what it'll do is it'll show up as an image that's on this page. So let me do that again. I may have rushed through that. Insert, PDF. You have to find it, so it may be on your desktop or on your USB key or anything like that. I've already located the folder where I have it. And then these are all indicated as PDFs, so I'll select the PDF file and I'll select Open. And there it is. Now everything I'm going to specify on screen, and you'll notice mine is actually in the wrong direction. That's okay. It doesn't matter what direction you scanned it in at. But I got to make sure that it says specify on screen for insertion point, specify on screen for scale. We're going to do all that once it's inserted. I'm going to select OK. Now, what we're doing now is simply placing it on the page. Once I click once with my left mouse key, I'm going to slide it and move just ever so slightly. Notice it creates a gray box. That box represents the 11 by 17 page that I scanned in. So I want it to be approximately the right size of the deck area. So if I click a second time, you'll notice that that image now is approximately the right size of this. It's not perfect, it's not meant to be, but we're going to work with that. Now this requires you to not only observe the process, but also to take notes to be able to repeat the process. So you can at any time obviously stop the video, write down the notes, rewind, make sure you got it right. So the first thing we did was we created a layer called Insert Graphic. It really doesn't matter what color you're selecting there, it's just the outer edge of it. And then we inserted, using the secondary menu, the PDF file. So there it is. Now you're going to notice this file, in my case, is in the wrong direction. Yours may be correct, but right now it's in the wrong direction. I want to rotate it at least 90 degrees. So I'm going to select Rotate, click on the image, press Enter, click on any corner, doesn't matter where, or even in the middle for that sake. And we want to rotate it 90 degrees. Now it's going clockwise, so that's negative 90. Press Enter, and there I have the image. Now I need to scale and rotate this perfectly below the image that I have here, but you'll notice that this image doesn't allow me to see what's behind it. The next step is critical. Click on the edge of the image, right click on it, and then select Draw Order. And there we can send the image backwards. And now I can see my CAD drawing in front of my image. And that's important because I'm going to be doing some alignment here to make sure I've got everything in the right scale. So now we've placed this in the correct location in terms of drawing order so I can see my graphic. The idea is to be able to line up a corner. It doesn't matter which one, but a corner. And I'm going to pick this one right here to the left. You'll notice that as I zoom in on this, it becomes pixelated. That's because we've scanned an image in. That's why you require a very high quality scan. A flatbed scanner will make these squares as small as possible for what we need here. And I'm going to line up this corner here, right at the kitchen, with the corner that's on the CAD drawing. So I'm going to select Move. And then I click on the edge of the image. So there's the edge of the image. Press Enter. Now I got to really zoom in tight to find this corner here. My graphic card's having a wee bit of a tough time catching up. So there we go. So I want to pick right in between this line and that line. You can see it's a rough estimate. So I want somewhere in that location. Now I'm going to zoom back out, and I'm rolling my wheel on my mouse to zoom in and out. And again, this will take a couple of seconds to catch up to what I'm doing. Now I've noticed that my mouse is set to ortho. I want to make sure that's off, so F8. It says ortho off in the command prompt. Great. And that corner has to line up with this corner right here. So let's zoom in on this corner. This is the CAD drawing. And now the graphic image is lined up with the CAD image in one location only. See, if I zoom in on that, it's pretty close to where it should be. That line should be somewhere along that diagonal This one's horizontal. I'm really lucky here because the scan was done nice and flat. If it wasn't, I'd have to rotate it. So for those of you who did not have this great alignment, I'm going to bugger this up on purpose because you need to be able to understand the next step. The individual that had scanned this in had done a really good job, and so I'm going to show an image that isn't quite as well done and see how that now the rotation of that is off. That's probably where most of you are, so I've changed mine to be that way because this was scanned in very well, and chances are, like I said, they're not going to be scanned in that precisely. And you're going to notice the scales are different. The graphic image in the background is smaller than the actual CAD drawing in the front. So what do I want to do? I want to match this corner to that corner, but I want to keep this base point. Those are all critical terms that we understand what we're doing. So we're going to use the scale command. So here's the process. Click on scale, and it's asking you to select the object. We're going to select the graphic. Now I don't need to pick anything else, so press enter on your keyboard. Now you'll notice it's saying specify base point. I need this corner, the one that I aligned. So I want to zoom in on it, and it's important you zoom in on it so that you actually find the location. So once again, my graphical card is having a tough time catching up. So there we go. And I've got my square. So that's my base point. Okay. Now the next steps are sometimes confusing. So we have to make sure we have the order correct. Look in your command prompt. It says scale, specify scale factor, or copy, reference. So what does that mean? We're going to use the reference option. And the reference option allows me to pick 2 points on the graphic to match with 2 points on the CAD image. So I'm going to type in REF and press enter. Okay. Now it says specify reference length. That doesn't make a lot of sense with what we're going to do. So follow along with what I'm doing, and you can write these steps down step by step. I'm going to click on the same base point again. All right. So what that says is the graphic image and the CAD image, they're going to be lined up at that point. Now I'm going to specify the second point on the graphic image, and that's going to be lined up with the second point on the CAD image. So here I'm guessing to where it's located. It's approximately here. And that I want to scale up to here. And the graphic image is suddenly bigger. Notice they're almost perfectly lined up, but because I rotated out of alignment, it's slightly out, which is good because most of yours is going to be slightly out. Now I'm ready to rotate that using the same technique. The steps are identical. We're just using a different command. So select rotate this time. Click on the graphic image. Press enter. Click on the base point. This is important. We want that same base point. Type in REF, enter. Click on the same base point again. Now, it's the graphical image to the CAD image. Be very careful that your snap settings don't jump to a different location. I want this corner right here, right in this corner here. I want that rotated to here. There we go. So now I've rotated the background graphic in the same direction as the CAD file. And you'll notice that there's some nuances that are slightly out. There's some corners that doesn't matter at this point. What we've done is we've inserted our sketch drawing into our CAD file, and now we can easily trace over what we have here, what we've been practicing with on that grid, to something that's going to be hardline in CAD. Your next assignment is going to be a hardline drawing in CAD, and I'll work this through with you so you get a sense of what you need to do. But I wanted to demonstrate this so you can see the importance of the quality of the images that you're going to be producing for assignment number 1. I need to be able to see how things have lined up, where things are, because when I bring them into CAD, I'm tracing over them to make sure I've got a hardline drawing that's identical to or pretty close to what we've been drawing in CAD.